We're here with the amazing John Romero. We already know whatever he has worked on. And let's start with the early days. This should be the last question, but I'm really curious to ask it to you. So I start with this. If you could talk to the young John Romero in late 80s or early 90s, what professional advice would you like to give him today?
There's a lot. There's a list. Of things, the things that you learn over time.
That's why I start with this.
Don't bring on co-founders that you have not worked with before. That's super important.
Wise.
Figure out what's most important and focus on doing that before everything else. That's another big one. Other than that, there's certain things that I would have said, like to my parents, like, "Hey, when we're moving to England, can we take that computer with us?" Like, because I want to keep on programming it and not have it be gone for half a year.
Oh,
because that happened and it really sucked.
And you waste some time.
I just learned a brand new programming language that was going to change my whole world, and then the computer was taken away because we moved. Yeah. So that was just incredible. I basically had to find out where there was a computer, and I couldn't save my data anywhere, so I didn't have like full access to it. So I could just like type in little bitty pieces of stuff and see what that shred of code, if it ran, to just reinforce what I thought I knew about programming in this new language. And so it was a lot of like notebooks full of code, and then hand assembling that code, like translating it from words to just numbers. And then when I get on the computer, I just type the numbers in and see if they run.
Okay.
So it's just like it was not fun. It's like doing math on paper instead of just typing it into a calculator.
Okay. Yeah.
So that was sick. I would do that. There's a bunch of times I would go like, don't hire that person. Don't do this.
This is so much easier. But
yeah. And there are things that like
it would be cool.
Like the thing with the computer, that might be the only thing that I would change, because I wouldn't want to change Doom happening.
Okay.
Because too many changes, that may not happen.
Yes.
Right? So
too many sliding doors, maybe.
Yeah. So just give me more access to the computer.
Okay, that's enough.
That's
okay.
about it. Yeah, everything else is fine.
Okay. One of the pioneers of the FPS genre, and in many ways modern video games, if you can say that. You've lived through every major phase of the medium. So you had to learn and create in a time where resources were scarce, and now it's everything different. What do you think? What did it mean to develop games back then, and what do you think today young developers are missing compared to those days of scarce resources?
So with the scarce resources, the focus was really on getting really good at programming in a language that demanded detail focus. It's called assembly language. And to make, like, all the good games in the 80s were all assembly language. And to get really good at that, you had to really focus on every instruction. Like, if you're going to add two numbers together nowadays, if you type into a line in C, you just say 5 plus 6, x equals 5 plus 6, semicolon. That will run.
Yeah.
And that will give you, 11.
Yeah.
In assembly language, that is a bunch of instructions. You're like, load the accumulator with 5, clear the carry, add with the carry, 6, store the accumulator in a memory location called S. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4 instructions to make that happen, and instead of just one line. And like the more complex it gets, like just to print the word hello, that's a whole loop that you have to write to make just a word hello. In C, it's printf, parentheses, quote, hello, quote, parentheses, semicolon, and that's it. That's all you write. In assembly, it's 20 instructions plus the data. It's way more intense just to do a simple thing. So the fact that you had to focus on this level of detail meant that you couldn't actually focus on the game design itself, because more design implies way more instructions, right? So you're always trying to keep the idea as tight as possible and simple, because even a simple game blows up into a lot of instructions. So that's unfortunate that we could have really expansive games. That's why games like Wizardry and Ultima back in the early 80s were so mind-blowing, because to make that happen required so much work on keeping the vision big, but working on all the little details, on getting a square graphic on the screen to go really fast, and all the data for characters and what they say and what they can do. It's so much work that it was impressive to have a game that had a scope that was big like that. And it took years to make those games, So, yeah, today developers luckily don't need to deal with that. Those constraints actually suck. So nowadays, the focus is really like, it's actually harder nowadays in a sense. Back then, it was hard to be really good technically. You had to spend all your time doing that. Nowadays, you don't need to, because Unreal Engine exists, right? So anyone,
something will do for you.
Yeah, anybody can make a great 3D game at high speed for free, right? And be taught how to do it on the internet. That's not the problem. The problem is design. The problem is having a good idea that has not been done before, and that's really hard.
And do you think that this easy way to do the thing are creating a lack of creativity?
No, I think people are stretching to be super creative. That's why the indie scene is so big and vibrant right now, is because people are trying a lot of different ideas to see what's going to hit. Because the technical problems are gone. It's now creative problems.
Okay, thank you. Which professional setback taught you the most over the years? And how do you try to pass on that value on new teams you work with?
Well, I'd say Daikatana was the biggest one. Just the failure of the game was just hit for decades. It was not helpful at all. But I just had to focus and keep on making games. And I did do several games. I've spent at least 10 years making games that no one has heard of, because they're really huge, and then they got canceled because of VC investment or because of publisher canceling or whatever. People knew I was working on something, they didn't know what it was. And they didn't know how big it was, But each time that happened, I had a team of 100 people working on the game, and
it's painful, I think.
Yeah. And so that was just not repeating how the first one, happened. That's definitely that's definitely lessons learned.
Yeah, you can use it now.
Yeah, it's obvious why it happened, so it's can't happen again.
Yeah. Let's talk about AI. Of course, AI is rapidly changing everything, even in video games. Do you see the AI as a creative opportunity to game design, or more as a threat to your work?
AI is a really great tool pretty much in every aspect of game development. So people are using it for really great workflow improvements. They're using it to get rid of some drudgery work that you would have to actually write code to do. You can actually have AI just write the code to crunch some numbers for you, and that saves a bunch of time, So it's you would have a programmer who normally would spend their time writing this code. It might be a junior programmer. Instead, you can have that junior programmer use AI to generate the code to get that data crunched. So it's a lot of learning to use AI as a super helpful tool to get you past the stuff that's not interesting, so you're focusing on what we're best at, which is the creative spark and making something new and innovative. And so AI is kind of helping to get you to that point faster, and not spending so much time in the stuff that's not as exciting.
And do you think it should not be involved in creativity work, maybe?
No, it is. It is involved in creative work. It's just that you don't want AI to make the stuff that the players see. You want it to help a person who's a game developer get to that point of
Yeah.
creation faster. And so you're still seeing a really great original piece of art or a really great code from somebody. But AI has just helped them get there faster than some of the boring work, because like nowadays in art, creating a 3D asset is so much work,
Yeah.
because the workflow on one of those is massive. And there's a lot of cleanup that AI can do for mocap.
Okay.
You know, it can do a lot of checking on the integrity of the models themselves and making sure they're within the parameters. So, like,
All
if
the
you,
boring stuff.
yeah, all the stuff that is boring and takes a technical expert to make sure it's good, you have AI just do those checks for you, and if something's not right, you can send it back to the company. Maybe that's an outsourced company, and tell them what they need to do to improve it, and then they can come back and fix it for you.
John, sorry. Why didn't you talk about the test that you ran that AI is not ready for the creative stage?
Yeah, well,
I think so.
AI
I think
can't
you-
just make the data.
Yeah.
You can't say make a model that's like this, right? Even with something as old as Doom, tell AI to make a Doom level is ridiculous.
Yes.
Like it'll say to me, "Oh yeah, John Romero's level design style is all this stuff." It's like, yeah, okay, make a level like that, and it's like it's a box.
Yeah.
And it's like it can't do that, you know. And even when you tell it to like come up with an innovative game idea, it'll tell you a game idea and it'll use the word innovative, but it's not. That's the word
It already
innovative
exists.
is not innovative,
Yeah.
right? It's like that still means you still have to come up with that idea.
Yeah.
So it's not there yet for any of those things. But it's there to help you think about how
get
to
there
do those things.
In,
Yeah.
in a less boring way.
Yeah, exactly.
You see well, maybe you already answered that, but you see the industry evolves for decades. And what recent technological innovation has truly surprised or inspired you, maybe beside the AI, both as a designer or as a player?
Well, a lot of it has to do with just the game designs that I've played in lots of different areas, and just seeing where indies are pushing the envelope in certain pieces of content or approaches to certain game styles, and just seeing the evolution of a certain subgenre is due to an indie deciding to do something different and add a new component to the design of a game, and then that's just like everyone's going to do that. You can tell like, that's such a good idea. Just seeing quality games, games that like people focus on no bugs, they focus on like how would Nintendo do it? And seeing indies approach a game like that, say like Oceanhorn was a really early example of a game that was like, we want to make a Zelda game that's as quality as Link to the Past, let's say, like classic SNES game.
Yeah.
And then they make Oceanhorn, and they even get Nobuo Uematsu to do the theme song
Yeah.
for it, right? And it's like, when you play it, it's like, this could have been Nintendo making this, and that was an indie developer making that game. It's great to see indies going after high quality and taking the teachings of Nintendo and their quality levels and trying to do that as an indie. I'd say the Seance of Blake Manor, which is a new game that was just launched on Monday.
Oh.
That's right out of Galway.
Okay.
Has that quality sense. Like it looks really good. The UI is really nice. The art's really great. The movement's solid, and it's a really great game idea.
And an indie team can do it.
An indie team can absolutely do it. You just got to know what to focus on. And focus on quality is more important than quantity.
Yeah.
Because when your game comes out, you launch it once.
Yeah. Last question. You always said gameplay before graphics.
Yeah.
You still nowadays stand by that today?
Yeah. It's all about the mechanics. It's all about what are you doing in the game and how do you feel second to second while you're playing it, and how can you improve that core loop of your game. And it doesn't matter where it takes place, right? It's like that's all that window dressing can change to be anything, but what you're doing is the thing that matters. So that's abstracted. At some point it becomes real in the game, and the assets can change to be anything. But like the way it feels as a player,
fun you
Yeah.
try while you're playing.
while you're playing it, that getting that feel down, no matter what it looks like, is what matters.
Okay, it's absolutely Romero's idea. and just from the bottom of my heart, thank you for your ideas and for your work because I grow up with it.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much for playing. Yeah.
We've done, and I have a little present to you. This is who we are.
All right.
This is a present from our assistant.